Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to my latest webinar. All right, I have no viewers yet, but we'll get the PowerPoint set up here while we're waiting for people to show up for this webinar. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody who watches this video because honestly, like the reason why I became a coach is because I love helping people and I appreciate the opportunity to share all the cool information that I've learned over the years with you guys. And pulling up my PowerPoint here. And yeah, without you guys, you guys make my life amazing. And I want to thank every single one of you that tunes into this. I'm very passionate about my work and helping people because I believe that the world is in need of lots of change. And I'm really hoping that this presentation and in my future webinars, I'm going to be doing a webinar every single month. And eventually my goal is to turn these webinars into chapters of a book. So as I said before, thank you for being here. Today we're talking about diet mastery. So let's get right into this, guys. First and foremost, diet mastery is really about self-mastery. I've personally kind of changed from just being a fitness coach to kind of being a self-mastery coach because I realized that training the body is really about getting the mind right and also the emotions. If you're really going to get your body right, you have to get your mind, your body, and your emotions in alignment to tap into what I call your higher self. And so today our topic is all about diet mastery. And what does that even mean, diet mastery? And we'll go right into this from the point that diet mastery is really about the mast of a ship. Last presentation, you'll notice that I use a boat analogy then as well. Mastery is all about your body. And in some ways, it's kind of like a ship, like you're kind of navigating this body. And essentially, you want to become a master of the ship. And that's why I have this picture of the mast here. Because, the fact is, if you're a ship out on water, is that you're kind of it's up to the ocean to decide where you're going to go. But if you have mastered yourself, you're going to be able to guide where your body goes, where your mind, your body, and your emotions take you. And if you're not in control of this mast, you will not be in control of your life. Pretty much other people are going to be in control of your life. And you're not going to be able to guide yourself towards the future that you want. And when I say that, you could actually, you could be headed for either bright skies and a beautiful life if you get the mast of your ship in alignment. And if not, then you could be headed for some dark times, storms. They could be coming your way. And the fact is, even if there is a storm coming, you're in control of your ship, you're going to have a better chance of surviving or getting through whatever it is you face in life. And so that to me is what diet is all about because, I'm a fitness coach, but I realized that, I could be the world's greatest fitness coach, but if you don't get your diet right, you're only going to see limited results. And when the storms of life come at you, you're not going to be ready to handle them. So now we've talked about what mastery is all about. Let's get into talking about what is a diet. And it's important that you understand this because a lot of people, they just kind of eat for energy. They don't really pay attention to the food that they're eating. And one of the things that I found, even like when I was really young, I realized most people don't actually know how to eat properly. I remember watching people over-consuming like alcohol or over-consuming food or over-consuming shitty thoughts, excuse my language. And really, it's creating a life that's not working for you. So let's focus on that key point. What is a diet? The word diet comes from the Latin word dieta, meaning way of life. And I spoke about this a little bit last month, but today we're really getting into what a diet is. And when you get your way of life right, it's really much easier to be successful because a lot of people say, oh, I hate diets. What you're really saying is I hate my way of life. So this is why it's important that you change the way that you see things. It's kind of like changing your oil on a car or something. If you don't change the oil, the car's going to run pretty bad. And I'm going to use a car analogy a little bit too. But what you have to realize is that food is a drug. Like right now, I'm actually I'm doing a diet challenge with my clients. I'm going to mention this at the end of the presentation too, if you are interested in getting involved. And for me, I'm at the point in my life where I'm cutting out as much BS as possible. Like I'm still drinking some caffeine, drinking very little alcohol. I'm really focused on figuring out what the diet that works best for me because food really is a drug. I realized like the other day, like I had a bunch of caffeine and I didn't feel very good afterwards. So I used it sparingly. I had a little bit of caffeine before my presentation today. But what you have to look at is in your life is how is food a drug and how are those drugs affecting your performance? Because anything that you eat is going to have an effect on your body. It's just like alcohol. If you drink alcohol, it usually takes about 10 minutes or so before you notice the impact. And it's the same concept when it comes to food. Like, you actually don't feel full until a few minutes later. So when you actually feel full, you were full a few minutes ago. It's like I said, it's just like when you consume alcohol. So think about it like that. Food is a drug. If you want to change your way of life, you have to change the way that you see your way of life, you know? So look at food as a drug and ask yourself, how am I drugging myself? How are these foods making me feel? And with that said, I want you guys to understand that your diet is really a chemistry experiment. And what I want you guys to do, and this is kind of a joke, but it's true, is I don't want you to blow up your chemistry experiment. And there's some people that they're on the edge of blowing up their chemistry experiment. They're diabetic, or they're suffering from any other like they got diabetes. They have or any other diseases associated with consuming too much sugar, or consuming too many high glycemic carbohydrates. And so that's an example of a chemistry experiment that's going to blow up. So essentially, my goal today, and who's this presentation for, is teaching you guys how to have the tools to fix this chemistry experiment. And even if you have the chemistry experiment in a pretty good place, it's all about teaching you new ways to kind of tweak things a little bit so that you can be more successful, or elevate your success to a new level. With that said, food is not just a drug, it's not just a chemistry experiment, but food is your fuel. If you fuel your body improperly, you're not going to see the best results. And I'll use myself as an example. A few weeks ago, I was on vacation, and I had my brother visiting from Singapore, and we all went on vacation. I was like, you know what? I've earned it. I'm going to enjoy myself for a week, and I'm going to just eat and drink whatever I want. And don't get me wrong, it was fun. I had a great time. But I felt really bad after a few days of just eating and drinking whatever I wanted. So it's really about, I often tell people that food is a fuel. If you fuel yourself improperly, you're not going to feel good. And often one of my favorite things to do with people is when they come off of one of my diet challenges, I say, go ahead and go back to eating whatever you want. And that's when the biggest change occurs, because people realize what they're doing to themselves when they eat a poor diet. It's essentially like walking into a room with somebody who's smoking a cigarette, and at first you're like, wow, that cigarette's really strong. And over time, you don't really notice the cigarette because you become desensitized. So similar concept with your food. If you don't know how bad the fuel is in your diet, if you're continuously eating the same stuff, you become desensitized to that sugar that you're consuming. And last but not least, when it comes to your diet, it's all about high octane performance. When you're putting high octane fuel in a car, it performs at a higher level. And it's no different when it comes to your physical body. And if you notice this picture, all these people working on this car, this is how I want you to view your car or your body. Your body is like a ship or a car, right? And when you really get your diet right, it's like you're sitting in this driver's seat and you have this team of people working on your body to help you perform at your best. But what's happening is that team of people is on the inside of your body, working to help you perform at your best and get around that racetrack as fast and as efficiently as possible. And that's really what it comes down to. I want you guys to look at it like this. If you really get your diet right, if you get this chemistry experiment right, you have a rock star team of people. Like if you were running a race car team, you'd want the best people working for you, right? Well, same thing with your diet. If you eat the right diet, it's like having the best people working inside of you to help you perform at the best. Now, what are you going to learn today? Learn 4 different diet types. Now, if you've ever done a diet in the past, or I've actually done in the past where I had one diet, right? Everybody do that one diet, and yeah, we got great results, you know? But I realized over years now, I've done over 12,000 hours of coaching, is that the diet I was doing doesn't actually work for every single body type. So what I've done is I've developed 4 different diets, which I'll be going over in detail today, and how you can apply these diets to your life. We're also going to go over how to get more confidence and eliminate anxiety. I personally I'm not a very anxious person, but I've gone into doing strict diets. I'll never forget my first diet. I actually opened my gym a month after I did my first diet, because it literally changed every aspect of my life. It changed the way that I thought, changed the way that I moved, changed my emotional intelligence, because I was fueling my body differently. But the point is, in terms of the anxiety, I remember my first diet being in a grocery store. And this is like my first week in, and I'm like got low blood sugar levels as I'm doing all this stuff to my body. And I remember looking at all the walls in the grocery store and thinking, oh my God, I can't eat any of the stuff in here. What do I do? And so like I've been there, people. I've gone through the anxiety or like the depression of old ways of eating that were affecting me, right? I've been there. And that's what I want to do today, is share with you guys the confidence and eliminate the anxiety of what's holding you back, or things that you've done in the past that didn't work for you, and help you figure out new ways and have confidence in trying those new ways and seeing how it affects your body and your mind. Be more diet conscious. One of the most important things, I talked about this right from the beginning, is people are not paying attention to what they eat. They're just kind of eating food and say, oh, I have energy to go about my day. But are you really fueling yourself properly? So I want you guys to be more way of life conscious. I want you to be more conscious of your way of life and how you can improve it. Eat for your lifestyle. Everybody's body is different, as I mentioned. That's why I have 4 different diets, so you can figure out the diet or a way of life or a lifestyle that works best for your way of life. Because everybody's different. Somebody who works as a garbage man may have a different lifestyle than somebody who's flipping stocks. So you may have to eat a little bit differently in different backgrounds of a different heritage. Somebody who's from a Chinese background may eat different things than somebody who's from a Greek background, you know? So that's part of what this is all about. Remember how I mentioned this is a chemistry experiment? Make sure you're working on refining this chemistry experiment so you can perform at a higher level. That's what you're going to learn to do today. At the most basic level, you're going to learn to perform at a higher level in every aspect of your life because your way of life is going to be better. So for the few of you that don't know me, my name is Odysseus Andrianos. I go by Odie. It's a picture of me holding the camera because I'm in a film studio named after my father. Been 12,000 hours of coaching. I've worked at 19 different gyms. I'm currently running 2 different gyms. I have a degree in kinesiology, emphasizing fitness, nutrition, and health. I'm a gym owner this will be my 9th year running my own gym. Absolute blessed. I love doing what I do. Online coach. I'm building an online website so that my customers can use my website and work out anytime they want, 24/7. And I can coach people via video from anywhere. My film studio actually just got nominated for Best Small Business for the 2nd year in a row. It feels really good honoring my father and building a studio named after him. And as I mentioned, I have this really cool website, odiesgym.com, that you can work out 24/7 anywhere you want with all these really cool videos that I've created. So that's a little bit about me, but now you know I actually have an idea of what I'm talking about. When I say that, I've helped people like my own mother lose 60 pounds, but not only that, I helped her keep it off. And then my own father, I helped him lose about 25 pounds. He gained it back in this past year while working on a TV series, but I'm excited to help him lose it again. Because, you know, it's one of those things, like if you've done it once, you can do it again, but it's a lot easier when you hire a coach to help you. And so that's essentially what I'm doing today, is giving some of my services and information to you guys complimentary so that you can learn some of these tools to help you to be more successful. So let's get into what these diets are all about. Get a little sip here. Variety is the spice of life. Now that quote, I'm not sure if it came from my favorite philosopher named Alan Watts, but variety is the spice of life. Can you imagine how boring it would be to eat the same thing for dinner every single day, every single year, every single day of your life, the same thing all the time? You really wouldn't be living. And essentially that's what happens with people who get comfortable, like even if not just your diet, but like even your exercise program, but you've been doing things a certain way for a long time and you're not seeing the results that you want. And so that's what this webinar is all about, is helping you to get some variety in your life and create some more spice, some more flavor. And that comes down to, at the most basic level, if you guys remember one thing that I tell you guys today, remember that when it comes to your diet, eat more colors. Just eat more colors, right? Get more colors and more variety in your diet, and you're going to be on the right track to success. Now, what are these 4 Odie's Gym diets? The first one is the calorie counter diet, and that's actually probably the toughest one, but I highly recommend that for people who are just starting out when they're doing a diet, because you're going to count every single calorie that you consume. And that's going to help you to keep a really good track of like where you're at and how much you're consuming. Next is the fast burner diet. And this is the one that I'm actually doing. It's an intermittent fasting style diet. And we'll go into that in a moment. Carnivore diet. This is the meat eater diet. I'm actually doing a combination of the carnivore and fast burner diet. This is my first time ever doing an intermittent fasting diet. I'm combining it with the carnivore diet to cut carbs. And there's also the flesh-free diet. For those of you that want to eat a vegetarian diet, we can cut the meat out and still get all the nutrients that we need. And I'll be going into how you do that today in this presentation. The key thing here is when I'm going over these diets is ask yourself, which one fits your body type? Like I said, excuse me, everybody's body is different, and you want to find the type of diet or way of life that works best for your body type. So with that said, let's dive right into this. Now, you notice that this is actually the calorie counter diet. I'm not trying to do a Livestrong commercial here, but it's an example of an app that you can use to help you be successful. And I'll give you a list of other apps here in a moment. But the calorie counter diet, honestly, I did the calorie counter diet for the first time in college, and it was a lot harder back then. It's way easier to do today. Oh my God, if we had apps, like I graduated from San Diego State University 10 years ago, and in school we had to track everything in a journal. It's way harder than it is today. You guys don't understand, like, oh, it's so hard tracking my food. Can you imagine carrying a journal around everywhere with you? Now all you have to do is use an app on your phone. So that's the point, though, is you're going to document all the calories you consume. Why do you want to document all the calories you consume? Most people don't even know what a calorie is. A calorie is the amount of energy it takes to raise the temperature of water by 1 degree. Most of you didn't even know that. What is a calorie? Oh, they're consuming calories all the time. It is it is utilized to measure the temperature, to measure the cost it takes to raise the temperature of water 1 degree. That is what a calorie is. So if you want to burn more calories, you got to change your diet. And if you don't know about the calories you're consuming, how can you know how to change it? So that key point there, if you're starting out for the first time with the diet, try the calorie counter diet. You're going to track all your serving sizes. Okay, I'm going to go over later about serving sizes and how you track those. But you need to keep on top of how much of a serving size you're consuming. If you're just constantly eating, you don't know what a serving size is, no wonder you're over consuming. It's pretty obvious why, because you're not paying attention. How did the food make you feel? This is something that I mention on every single one of my diets. You need to pay attention to how foods are making you feel, whether you're doing the calorie counter diet, the fasting diet, or the carnivore or flesh-free. How is the food making you feel? If you track how foods make you feel, you'll know which foods are going to give you energy. Like, let's say you have a presentation. Like, let's say I'm giving a speech, and a week from now I'm giving a speech. I know what food to eat the night before that's going to help me sleep, and I know what food to eat the day of that presentation, so my brain will be performing at a higher level. And you want to be doing the same thing. If you don't have a track record, how are you going to do that? Use an app to help you track. I already mentioned this, and I'm going to show you some examples of some apps that are going to help you on this next slide. The benefit of this, as I mentioned, is that you know your portion sizes. Most people fail on their diets because they're still eating too high of a portion size. And when you really start tracking, you're like, oh my God, I consumed a lot more calories than I thought. With that said, here's an example of a few different apps that you can use. MyFitnessPal is an awesome one from Under Armour. I use them to track my bike rides as well, so I highly recommend MyFitnessPal. There's also MyPlate, MyNetDiary, and Trap and Track. The main thing here is that find the app that works best for your lifestyle, okay? They have different features on different ones, and I recommend playing with each one and find which one works best for you and your lifestyle. All right, moving along here to the next diet. So you'll notice we have a picture of a clock and a plate, because that's what this fasting diet is all about. It's about paying attention to the timing of when you're eating and how many calories you're consuming on those days. Now, there's different ways of doing fasting diets. I chose this version where you do 2 days out of the week, you eat 500 calories or less. That's for women, and for men, it's actually 800 calories or less. So what I'm doing personally is on Mondays and Fridays, I'm going to be consuming about 800 calories or less because I'm a male. And I actually did it for the first time yesterday. And I'm not going to say it wasn't, it was hard, but it wasn't easy either. I remember around 7:30 p.m. I was like, man, I really want some food. But the key point is with any of these diets, if it's kicking your butt and you feel like you need to cheat a little bit to keep you sane, don't feel bad if you have to do that. Okay, I've been in situations where I needed like a couple spoonfuls of almond butter, and it helped me get through the day. If you feel that way, don't be afraid to do it. You're not gonna die because you weren't strict on your diet. It's actually better for you to cheat a little bit and feel comfortable with yourself and not feeling sick. So always make sure you're listening to your body. Okay, well, like, how are you gonna not eat or eat just 500 or 800 calories in one day and survive? The fact is that if you're going to get like a surgery done the next day, you wouldn't want to have anything in your system. So a doctor would tell you not to eat for a day. So a day of not eating as much food, you can totally get through that. The main point is, and I'm going to mention this in a moment, is the importance of drinking water, plenty of water. So choose your eating times. So when I'm doing my diet challenge, I'm going to be eating 800 calories or less on Mondays and Fridays between the hours of noon and 8 p.m. So what this does is it forces my body to cut back on the amount of calories I'm consuming. A lot of that is the high glycemic calories that I've been consuming. By cutting those out, right? That's kind of how this works. It's pretty simple. By cutting out consuming as many calories, my body actually turns to utilizing fat as a fuel source more readily. So it's easier for my body to burn fat. So that's essentially why you do this fast burning diet, because it teaches your body to use fat as a fuel source. Make sure that you plan your diet around your schedule. It works out for me that I actually have Mondays off, and I only work a half day on Fridays, so this works out well for me to pick these 2 days as my days where I'm consuming less calories. So with any of these diets, make sure that you plan a diet or way of life that works around your personal schedule. I mentioned this before, drink lots of water. Flushing out the old stuff in your system is really critical to keeping you full between meals, especially on the days like when I'm fasting all morning. I'm drinking tons of water. I'm putting tons of water in my system. And also, I've noticed the health benefits of that. I'm actually sleeping better because I'm consuming more water. I noticed that my complexion is actually improved because I'm drinking a lot more water. I've only been doing this diet for about a week, and I'm already noticing some of the impacts. And also learning how to control myself and not have to crave food so much. It's been phenomenal, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. The main benefit of doing the fast burner diet is you're going to burn fat fast. You're really going to burn fat fast because you're teaching your body to work with less caloric consumption. So if you want to lose weight, this is probably the fastest way to lose weight, by doing the fast burner diet. Next diet, we got a couple pieces of meat here. Big old pieces of meat, the carnivore diet. So the carnivore diet, it's all about, the most important thing is my last diet, I did a vegetarian diet. And one of my things is, if you're going to choose to recommend paying attention to where your meat source comes from. You don't want to eat meat that came from a farm where the animal will live its whole life in a cage and it was in fear, because you are what you eat. You're eating fear. Now, like a vegetarian said to me, it's like that's a good argument. I can't deny that. Me personally, I'm not going full vegetarian yet. I'm not ready to do that. But when I do eat meat, I want to make sure that it's quality meat sources. Like I said, you don't want to eat fear. Why would you want to eat fear? So make sure you're getting your meat from a quality source. It's a farm, and that's one of the beauties of it. If you're here in the Bay Area, we have a lot of really good resources in terms of getting food. So take advantage of that stuff, and you're going to feel a lot better about eating quality meat rather than some crappy meat source. Cutting high glycemic carbohydrates. As I mentioned before, when you cut high glycemic carbohydrates, your body doesn't have those high glycemic carbohydrates to use as a fuel source. Any carbs that you don't use, especially high glycemic carbs, if you don't use them for energy, they get turned into fat. So what happens is when you cut these high glycemic carbohydrates, your body uses and then you teach your body to use fat, and that is your main fuel source instead of you relying on these high glycemic carbohydrates. With that said, you must increase your good fat intake. If you do not increase your good fat intake, you're going to feel yourself bonking out. Earlier I mentioned when I was on my first diet and I was in a grocery store and I was freaking out. It was because I hadn't eaten enough good fat. You've got to make sure that you have enough good fat in your diet to keep your brain functioning properly, especially when you're cutting out high glycemic carbohydrates. Carry snacks and drink water. This is especially important for this diet, but also with the intermittent fasting diet, or any diet in general, is that make sure that you're prepared. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And if you're prepared ahead of time, you're going to be more successful. So carry some trail mix, carry some berries, bring a smoothie with you. Or actually what I've done is I tell my clients that they're doing the carnivore diet, bring some almond butter with you. That way it's a good source of fat. And speaking of fat, you want to make sure that you're eating avocados, eating more nuts, eating more fish. These are all really good sources of getting lots of fat in your system to help keep your brain functioning at a high level. Benefit, elevated fat burning. Pretty similar. It's similar to the intermittent fasting diet, except for you're consuming more calories. But the main source of you cutting out the fat is by you eliminating high glycemic carbohydrates. Another similar version of this diet is like the Atkins diet or the ketogenic diet, or the paleo diet is pretty similar to the carnivore diet. So if you're looking for like recipes and whatnot for this diet, you can also look up those style of diets. Like I said, paleo, ketogenic, or Atkins diet are very similar. Veggies, look at all those colors. Yeah, there's even some fruit in there, some grapes. Flesh-free diet. Now, I actually did this diet on the last diet challenge. I do a diet challenge twice a year. And when I did this diet, it was different. It was my first time ever cutting meat out of my life. And I liked it. It was good. But I'm probably still going to eat some meat, for at least for now. And what I really noticed about it is that I went too much to carbs when I went to the flesh-free diet. So I have to prepare myself a little bit more ahead of time. So I'm sharing with you guys my own story. If you're ready to go fully fresh-free, you can totally do it. But as I mentioned before, you've got to prepare ahead of time. When you do the flesh-free diet, you're going to eat little to zero meat. I have some people who eat some fish, or they eat like shellfish, and they keep it really light in terms of how much meat, or they eat very little chicken or fish. You want to really increase your veggie, fruit, and fat intake, just like with the other diets. You want to make sure you're eating lots of good fat. People aren't consuming enough good fat in their diets, and they're wondering why their brain's not functioning properly. Consume low glycemic carbohydrates, right? As I mentioned before, that was one of my challenges. I was starting to eat too many carbs because I wasn't eating meat. And so make sure that you're preparing yourself. And I have recipes and whatnot on my website that you can utilize to help you as well. But cutting out those high glycemic carbohydrates and focusing on quality sources of veggie, fruit, and fat as well. If you're eating a diet that's meat-free, you want to supplement vitamin B12 into your diet. This is something you're going to become deficient in. So make sure you talk to your doctor first about any type of dietary changes and make sure that you're getting the proper to be successful. The main benefit is just improved overall health. There's been different studies that have come out over the years that talk about the dangers of consuming too much red meat, or like one of the things that I like about the flesh-free diet is I think there's a lot of there can be some toxins in the fat of animals because you don't know what they're eating. And so that's one of the challenges with eating meat, because you don't always know what the animals that you're consuming, what they're eating. So there's a very increased ability to improve your health because you're cutting a lot of those toxic things that other animals are eating out of your life. So that's one of the biggest benefits of doing the flesh-free diet. Now, how do you choose? How do you know which diet's for you? Look at your track record. What have you been doing in the past? What has worked and what hasn't worked? I've worked with a number of clients who have had eating disorders in the past, or they've had things that have happened, or like they have had issues from their past. And the thing is you need to look at your track record and realize where you need to make change. You've got to be really honest with yourself. You've got to be hard on yourself and realize what places are you failing, what places are you sleeping. If you remember last month, I talked about how to break bad habits. In a lot of areas, people are asleep, and that's why they're not changing, because they're just not even conscious. And then a lot of times it's with your diet and your track record with your diet. Is what you're doing working? Be a little honest with yourself. Is your diet working? Are you getting the results that you want from your diet? A lot of people are not. And like even myself, like I've worked on my diet for years. I'm still working on it. And I'd say overall that when I'm on a strict diet, it's totally working for me. It is totally working for me, 100%. And that's why I love that feeling. I want to help people to realize how much their life, like you're eating a poor diet and your life's working against you. Remember that picture earlier of the car? Imagine all those people in the car trying to destroy your car, right? If you have a bad diet, there's a bunch of people who are damaging your car, and you're trying to go out and race, and how are you going to be successful if your innards aren't right? What do you need to change? I mean, a lot of people, like I said, they're eating too many high glycemic carbohydrates. They're consuming too much sugar. They're drinking too much alcohol. They're not even paying. They're watching TV and just consuming calorie after calorie after calorie. Where do you need to change? Sometimes it's just eating less in general is going to be where you need to change. Putting the fork down in between bites can be a huge thing for people. If you need support, hire a coach. I cannot emphasize this enough. When your car breaks down, you take it to a professional. Okay, most of you people are not experts at your bodies. I'm sorry, you're not. Like I've done 12,000 hours of coaching, and I consider myself an expert, but I'm still going out and learning more and more each day about how to develop myself. So when your body's not working right, when your car's not working right, hire a coach. I offer coaching services via video. If you want to do, I do 15-minute sessions with people, and I can help you once a week getting your diet right. Don't be afraid to contact me and ask me for help. I have limited time, but please contact me and let's get you going. Start a journal or diary. You can't, remember the first one there is look at your track record. If you don't have a track record, how are you going to change it? Think about that. How are you going to change it if you don't have a track record? You could sit there egotistically and say, oh, I know what I ate. I'll tell you right now, I've been coaching for a long time. I've coaching for a long time. I've done over 16 years of coaching. 14 years of coaching. What it really comes down to is that a lot of people I've said, like, what'd you eat yesterday? Or what'd you eat today? Don't know. People aren't even paying attention. So if you don't have a journal or a diary, that's the first step towards you being more successful, because you need to have a track record you can take a look at and see where you need to make changes. And then as you make those changes, you write down, remember I said before, how those foods are making you feel. Your emotions are a big factor in terms of what you're eating and being addicted to like sugar and whatnot. So hopefully that'll help you. And as I mentioned, your body's like a car. If your car is broken, call a coach, contact somebody. It's just going to keep getting worse if you don't contact somebody and get the support that you need. So don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, me right now, I'm building an online business. I'm looking to get help with building my online business because I don't really know how to build an online business. So it's okay to ask for help. Don't be afraid. Now, top 10 tips to help you change your diet. I'm going to bang through each of these. I got a picture for each one, and I want to go over the top 10 tips to change your way of life. Number 1, emotional eating. Many of you are struggling with emotional eating. I tell people that emotion is energy in motion. If you're not in control of that energy in motion, then you're going to eat and you're going to eat and you're going to eat until you get fat, and you're not going to see the results that you want. So you ask yourself, what, like this picture, a candy bar would make me feel better. No, a candy bar is not, okay, that's not true. A candy bar will make you feel better for a few minutes. That is 100% true. But it's no different than a crackhead smoking crack. You know what I mean? You got to think about where those emotional triggers are coming from. What is triggering you wanting to go and eat that food or go and eat that sugary product? That's where the real change is going to occur. You're not going to like just like, oh, you feel that trigger and you go and you eat the same thing. You could try eating something else, but it's really the thing that's triggering you. So pay attention. And as I mentioned, keep a track record so you can start working those emotional issues. Number 2, sugar overdose. I know for a fact some of you watching this right now are struggling with sugar. Cut down on sugar. People are consuming too much sugar. It's an epidemic in the United States and across the world. Like I go to grocery stores and I just sit there and I look around like, wow, there is just poison lining the walls of these grocery stores. Diabetes is an epidemic. Heart disease is an epidemic. People are consuming far too much sugar. Put the sugar down. Drink more water. Like if you want to be successful in your diet, just simplify it. Eat as simple as possible. And it might seem kind of boring, but when you start feeling really good all the time, it's a lot easier to cut the sugar out of your life. Too much TV. Turn off TV and turn on your life. Now, I'm very biased. I mentioned this last month too, briefly about bad habits. And the fact is this. I'll tell you, this is an appeal to authority. My father is a filmmaker in Hollywood, and he told me, turn off the stupid box because you're going to sit there and you're going to be watching TV and you're going to see a commercial about chalupas and you're going to see it's so cheesy and juicy and meaty and yummy. Oh, you want a chalupa. Guess what? You don't want a chalupa. I was actually talking to one of my clients the other day about how like her children are watching TV and like, Mom, you're telling me to exercise and eat healthy, but when you put on the TV, there's all these commercials about Tostitos or Doritos and Pepsi. How come the TV wants me to eat all these unhealthy things? I'll tell you right now, turn off your TV. This is your higher self. Turn off your TV and pay attention to your diet. Pay attention to your way of life. Turn off your TV, people. I cannot emphasize that enough. When I say that, I still watch TV occasionally, but I'm very careful with what I choose to watch. Okay? So another thing too is people sit there. I've done this too. You're sitting there watching TV and just eating and not paying attention. Like, oh, I ate the whole bag. And you weren't even paying attention. That's a big reason why too much TV is bad for you. Limiting liquid calories. You see that smoothie, you see that Coca-Cola, that beer, that wine. Oh my God. If you just literally, some people, if you just do this, just start drinking water and nothing else, it will change your life. That you take from this whole presentation. You've cut out alcohol, you've cut out sugary drinks, and you only drink water. That could be the life-changing diet tip that blows your mind and changes your whole reality. Because, like, let me give you an example. I remember, like, in my mid-20s, I looked at a can of beer. I was like, Budweiser, that's 160 calories of beer. If I drink 10 of these, that's well over 1,000 calories. Oh my God, just from drinking beer, liquid calories are killing people. Literally, you see, that was actually the only thing that made me fat when I was in college. If I drank too much beer, I was like, I can't be drinking these beers. It's gonna give me a gut. I don't wanna look like all these old people who don't take care of themselves. So limit those liquid calories, people. I can't emphasize that. Instead of drinking liquid calories, just drink water. It's gonna be so much simpler. Just drink water. Know your portion sizes. Know your portion sizes, people. So, portion control. What is a serving size? Isn't it funny how we go through our lives and no one even teaches us what a serving size is? A 3-ounce piece of meat is the size of the palm of your hand. Luckily, I have bigger hands, so I get to have bigger pieces of meat. 1 medium piece of fruit is the size of a tennis ball. 1 cup of raw leafy greens is a fist. I know I'm just reading this off to you guys, but it's important to know this, that like a portion size isn't as much as you think. Like 1 ounce of cheese is your thumb, right? 1 ounce of nuts is a handful. You guys, like, are you reading this right now and realizing how much you overeat? How many, like, you realize the portion sizes that we get when we go out to eat? Like if you're training like a bodybuilder, oh yeah, go eat those calories. You've earned it. You know, if you've been working out really hard, you went and you like, if I do a 20-mile bike ride, I've earned it. I get to go eat a big meal. But if you did not work out hard, you don't get to eat that much. Stop pretending that you are this gluttonous person who gets to just do whatever you want, eat whatever you want, and not pay the price for the consequences. Focus on figuring out what a serving size is and cutting down on the amount of food that you're eating. This is one of the biggest epidemics facing American society today. Eat a variety of colors. Notice here that green is for detoxification. Yellow is for beauty. White is for immunity. Purple is for longevity. Red is for heart health, and orange is for cancer prevention. So I remember before I said variety is the spice of life. So think about that, getting more variety of colors in your diet. And then you're going to have more variety of flavors in your life, right? Meal plan and journal. I've said this repeatedly in this presentation. Hopefully it's sinking in a little bit. It's like, why am I not getting results with my diet? Well, have you tracked what you're doing? Have you focused on planning ahead for your meals? If you don't track what you're doing, if you don't come up on a Sunday and you're not thinking about what you're eating for the week, chances are you're going to fail that week. I'm going to say that again. If it comes to like a Sunday and you're not thinking at all about your meals for that week, chances are you're going to fail for that week. So for myself, I always plan. I don't need to plan every single meal. You don't have to be perfect. Like for me, I'm very busy. I'm managing over 40 clients, 2 gyms, and a film studio, or whatever. But you know what? I have to make sure that I'm on point with my diet. So what I do is I don't plan every meal of the week, but I make sure that I plan at least eat out once in a while, right? But I make sure I have options in my local community where I know they have the food that I need, so I get in and get out, right? So the greater efficiency you have, the better you're going to be, and the better you're going to perform. Remember that race car from the beginning? Use technology. I've talked about this before too. I have pictures of some of those apps that I mentioned earlier as well. MyFitnessPal. Use technology to help. Now, I tell people there's a balance here, and eventually I actually want to create a technology retreat where you can get some technology out of your life. But take advantage of technology. Use it to help you out. I have a video website that has all the tools. This webinar, you can come back and watch this again whenever you want. You're feeling down about your diet, you can replay this webinar and you can watch it again from your phone. So make sure that you're utilizing technology to help you to be successful. Utilize these apps. Remember I told you in school I had to track everything on a piece of paper? It was so much more work. It's easier today than ever, okay? Get better rest. Too many of you are stressed out. You're staring at your phone too late at night instead of actually working on getting before I go to bed, I put my phone away, or I put on some music from my phone, and I'll put it down, and I'll do coloring. Find unique ways to get better quality rest, and you will perform at a higher level. And it's easier to get your diet right when you're better or more properly rested. Number 10, and probably the most important, is developing your subconscious mind. Now, if you notice this picture, the conscious mind is the top or the tip of the iceberg. You'll notice the subconscious mind is much bigger. And that's why each time you come to one of my presentations, each one of these webinars, every time you come to see me at the gym, or anytime you watch one of my videos, I don't just speak to your conscious mind. I'm working on your subconscious mind. We're working on those images in your subconscious mind. As you work on those images in your subconscious mind, that's where the biggest change occurs, right? So the way I want you to look at this is, it's like when you get your current right, the current is going to take you where you want to go. I had a picture last month where the current was going against you being successful. If you get the current right, that's your subconscious mind. Let's get you where you want to be in life. If you need help, like I said, hire a coach. Final details. Ask your doctor for support before you start any diet, okay? If you need help, contact me. Plan ahead and reward your success. Make sure that you're rewarding your success because you want to reinforce you moving towards your goals. Remember, like I said before, that your diet is a chemistry experiment. Don't blow it up, okay, people? And last but not least, get support, and more than anything, have fun, because your diet is your way of life. If you're not having fun with your way of life, you're going to create a lot more stress, depression, and anxiety for yourself because you're not having fun. And that's what I love to do with exercise, nutrition, and health, is I want to make it fun for people. People aren't having enough fun in this world. Now, my online challenge, if you're interested, it's $50 to sign up. I've had people lose up to 30 pounds doing my diet challenges. Please message me for details. What you're basically going to do is you're going to pick your diet. I'm going to send you all information. You can complete the form that I'm going to send to you as well. And the winner is going to get a gift card and an Odie's Gym t-shirt. If you're interested, please contact me. I'd love to get you involved and help you on your path to getting in great shape. Next month's webinar, I'm going to talk about travel fitness. I've actually created some really cool travel fitness videos that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. You can do workouts while you're traveling from your hotel room. And I'm going to go over how to stay healthy when you're traveling and how to pick the right food option. It can be challenging when you're traveling. I'm not just doing this for you guys. I'm doing traveling this year. I want to find out the best way to stay healthy when I'm traveling. It's way harder when you're on the road. And we're going to go over in depth the details for how you can be successful. So that's it, folks. I'm going to exit out here. And we've got a few viewers. Some of you are watching. Cool. So thanks for watching my webinar. Let me stop the screen sharing. All right. Hey, guys, what's up? So thanks for watching my webinar. I'm looking forward to doing more webinars in the future. Each month, I'm picking a different topic and we're doing a webinar. As I mentioned, this is how you actually work on your subconscious mind, by having a coach like me who helps you reinforce working on that subconscious mind. And it's just each time you're doing it, it's just like, I can't change your life as a coach. All I can do is hand you the tools and then reinforce you using those tools. So each time that you either come to my gym or you watch one of my videos or you watch my webinars, you're reinforcing you getting those tools to self-mastery or diet mastery or way of life mastery. Thanks for watching. Check me out, odsgym.com, OG. And once again, thank you all for your time and your energy, and much love. Take care. Peace.